All right, ladies and gentlemen, last manga last manga reaction for the day. And apparently, because I looked into it, I looked into it, and this chapter is apparently going to be starting the final battle of Sakamoto Days, which means that this could be the last string of chapters we get before the series end. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Holster, hi, hello, how are you? Yo, peoples! Really hope that everything is working out fine because it's giving me that little loading, it's giving me that little buffering wheel again, and I want to make sure that everything is on the up and up without any trouble. But everything appears to be fine. Hold on. Allow me to look into this for myself. I shall look into it and make sure that everything is running smoothly. Because I don't want any complications while I'm reading this chapter today. I do not. Oh yeah, okay, we are good, everybody. It was kind of doing that during One Piece. My sincerest apologies. Always happens when it's gloomy outside. It is so weird. Yeah, I see it. It's skipping. It's skipping. Okay, are we good? Because I got to get started. As long as we're good. As long as we're good. As long as we're good. It's always when it's gloomy outside. It's always jacking stuff up. Okay, last we left out on, Oki and Nagamo were fighting. Nagamo was saying like, hey, you guys are going to lose. Oki's all like, how do you think we're going to lose? They continue their fight through an entire cafe, with Oki basically saying, you seem to be overestimating yourself. But you think that we wouldn't, and basically he's insinuating that I found people with an ample amount of bloodlust. And that is, we see these different people throughout the city. One who wanted to be a cop just so he could shoot a gun. Another being a mother pushing a baby, where she just decapitates a man who's saying that her baby was getting on his nerves. Then we have another group, another person that is essentially like two students, a brother and a sister who had just graduated from an assassin academy, and they're making their way from Kyoto over to the main area as well, with Torres and Gozu escorting them personally. So let's see what happens in 224 Security Escort. And we are now back in Japan with Sheena and her brother, because Torres is escorting them. And she's looking around. She still has her same clothes that she graduated in, and she's standing there with her brother going,
hey, big bro, doesn't Tokyo kind of smell bad to you?
I can't believe people live like this. Let's go home. And then Gozu goes, sorry, I know you just arrived, but we gotta put you right to work. We're a bit short on elite fighters at the moment. And then she goes,
sweet, let's do this.
And then we have a man just standing in the middle of the street, like in the middle of the walkway, like the giant walkway. I know it has a name, but I don't know the name off the top of my head. The big giant walkway that everyone walks across in Tokyo. And he just has what appears to be a mask on. He's like I wouldn't say it's a Kamen Rider mask, but he just has a mask on, but he's wearing like formal clothes, like a dress shirt with a striped tie and baggy dress pants with his hands in his pockets.
That dude looks fierce.
And this dude is just looking at her.
He's huge. What's your deal?
He looks tough. And he's just standing there not saying anything. You're not the only ones we scouted. If you want to rise through the ranks quickly, just outperform the other noobs.
Oh, that won't be necessary. I know a quicker way, right, big bro?
Sheena, no! And she takes her weapon out. She's got it. That was not the weapon I thought she was going to have. She takes her weapon out of her bag. I knew it was going to be a weapon, but she takes it out of her bag. She takes it out of her bag, and it's a minigun. It's a minigun.
Yoo-hoo!
And she shoots towards the guy and just opens fire. And then it cuts to some civilians who are going, it's a shooting spree. Whoa. Hey, that guy's still alive. Should we call an ambulance? And the guy is standing there and he's not moving at all. He didn't even move after being fired upon.
Something's weird about this dude. Could be his body or his clothes.
You're a lunatic. Her own brother's looking at her like, you crazy. Then the guy speaks. What did I ever do to you? Man, people always treat me like a bad guy. Mind you, his mask has the kanji for kill written on the forehead. Prepare to die, you little... Oh. He says, prepare to die, you little turd. And then Sheena says,
your voice is surprisingly high.
Which means the voice I'm using probably isn't the right one. What did I ever do to you? Man, people always treat me like a bad guy. Prepare to die, you little turd!
Your voice is surprisingly high.
And just when it seems the masked guy was preparing to fight, Gozu sends like a bolt of electricity to the both of them. And because Gozu says, stop. And they both stop. Squabble all you want later. Right now, save your energy. The battle's long begun. You're all killing prodigies who've been smoldering quietly behind the scenes. And it shows the cop who just wanted to kill people with his gun. It shows the masked mother with her baby. It shows the brother and sister. And it shows the Japanese Kamen Rider wannabe. The Japanese masked wrestler. You're all killing prodigies who've been smoldering quietly behind the scenes. Now it's time to show us what you've got. And then it cuts back to Granny Mia's clinic. And we cut to Shin going, Slur and his gang are combing the city for us right now. Sakamoto is still down for the count. I was just talking with Seba and then it cuts back to Seba who goes, the JCC has an ICU and it's safer than Tokyo. And then it cuts to Mafia who goes, is Shin coming here? Sakamoto saved the JCC. We owe him. We're transferring Mr. Sakamoto to the JCC. I've already arranged for secure transport. And it has the dude, I forget his name, the dude that wanted to bring Lou back to the Triad.
Wow, it's big. The boss should be comfy in here.
And it shows Lou in the back of this giant armored truck.
We're all relocating.
And then it shows Hana, who's there as well, because it also shows Aoi there too.
We're going to the assassin school?
Yeah, the food's terrible, but we'll have to make do. And then Atari doesn't say anything because she's watching all of this go down.
Actually, I'm gonna stay here.
Atari.
I don't have any luck left. It's
dangerous here. Come with us.
Don't touch me! There's no telling what kind of misfortune I could attract. I can't risk everyone dying because of me.
But then it shows Lou and everyone else holding on to Atari. Not just her, not just Shin, but everyone else. Everyone else is holding on to Atari. And then it cuts to Aoi, who squishes Atari's face and goes,
leaving behind a scared, trembling girl would be even worse.
And then Boyle just picks her up by the entire shirt and goes, we're not the type to rely on luck to survive. And then your boy speaks up and goes, luck is unscientific. There's no evidence it exists. And then it cuts to Nagamo, who's chiming in, going, on TV, the horoscope channel said my luck today's great. You can sit by me. And then Atari just starts crying, going,
Everybody, I'm so sorry.
and then Kindaka chimes in and goes, Sakamoto's all loaded up. Let's go. JCC, here we come. And then they're driving. And it's Boiled who's driving, while everyone is loading into the back of the truck, including Granny Mia, who's back there looking over Sakamoto. I ain't been to the JCC in years. It's deep in the mountains, about 2 hours from here.
How's Sakamoto doing? His vitals are stable.
And this is Lou asking in the back, because everyone else is crowded around Sakamoto to make sure he's fine. And then it cuts to Hana, who goes,
Papa.
and then Boiled sees someone in his rear view, because someone is riding up behind him. Dang, we got company already. We expected as much. And then it cuts to Atari, who's like, oh no, this is all my fault that all these people are getting dragged in now. But then Aoi kind of consoles her and goes, come. Heisuke! Yeah! And Heisuke immediately opens fire. And the masked man punches his bullet. No, he doesn't punch his bullet, he catches it. Okay, so the masked man, the masked assassin, is riding on a motorcycle, and he catches Heisuke's bullet and then just flips it behind him, going, I'm always the bad guy, huh? Who's this freak? And then he digs his hand into the concrete while he's driving, which, in real life, if you put your hand up against the pavement while you're going at high speed, the only thing you're going to be picking up is less hand. Because you're going to be missing some skin, maybe some chunks of fingernail, maybe even chunks of finger, depending on the grade of the road. This man digs his hand while he's on a motorcycle, and then chucks the debris he's pulling up, and throws it at the truck. Fine. And then it shows Heisuke and the masked man, as Heisuke jumps out of the truck and shoves and smashes the guy's face with his gun. And Heisuke is getting left behind. Heisuke! We're getting out too. But then Shin has one of the doors closed on him. Has one of the doors closed on him from Heisuke essentially shooting it shut. And they both give each other the eye. Heisuke. Step on it, Boiled! What about Heisuke? Hurry! And then the truck takes off. And then the masked man chimes in and goes, Idiots, you thought you could get away? Oh no, that's not the masked man speaking.
Idiots, you thought you could get away? You poor thing. Your friends ditched you.
Yo,
long time no see, you snot-nosed punk.
Because not only is Heisuke gonna have to deal with the masked assassin, but he's also gonna have to deal with Kumanomi. Cause Kumanomi is here. This is a bad matchup. This is a very bad matchup, especially for Heisuke. His gunmanship is so good, but going up against Kumanomi. And this dude who can catch bullets. Here's the thing. This series makes me laugh in a good way, okay? It makes me laugh in a good way. This man caught a bullet shot by a rifle. Specifically, a rifle meant for sniping, which means that bullet velocity would be many times larger than your average gun velocity. He caught the bullet and then just flicked it away like it was nothing. Then dug his hand into the pavement to chuck the debris at the truck. Now, mind you, it didn't really do anything to the truck, but it was cause for concern that he could do that. Another sign that should have told us that he straight up wasn't normal is when Sheena used her weapon, which is a custom portable minigun, mind you. And he's just standing there with him looking like, hey, you messed up my shirt. He tanks bullets. So now the fact that Heisuke is gonna have to face off against Masked Dude, and now he's gonna have to face off against Kumanomi, because Kumanomi can essentially manipulate his bullets so that it can't actually touch her. One dude is resistant to bullets, it seems, and another one can manipulate them. I said this was a bad matchup, but the more I think about it, it's actually worse. It's actually worse. One dude is just straight up bulletproof. Another one can literally manipulate the bullets themselves. Hey, Skay, look, Halster. I have to agree. Now he's facing someone who's seemingly not affected by his bullets, and the girl who can use magnetism, who he's faced before and didn't beat. Heisuke, time for your Shin moment, like what Shin had against Tenkyu. New story, same, yeah, same funny. It's funny. It's so hilarious. Don't tease. It's so hilarious how we get these people, and you would think of all the stuff that's been tickling me in these recent chapters, you'd think they would stop, but no, they just keep finding more ways that just make me laugh. We now have a bulletproof man up against a person who primarily fights with bullets. And his first shot was caught by the guy and flicked behind him like, man, why you shooting at me, bruh? Why you doing that, bruh? And mind you, the biggest display of his just straight up tanky body against bullets was someone using a minigun on him. You ever just sit there, and I'm not saying this has anything to do with the writing because this is hilarious to me, but you ever just sit there and you just have to take several breaths without looking at anything because you don't want too much data going in through your optic nerves or anything. You don't want to think too much, and you're just like, just when you've seen everything crazy, now we got a man who's just bulletproof. That's silly. That is silly to me. That's a good silly, but it's just this series never ceases to make me smile with some of its silly moments. If it's not Oki and Nagumo having a calm conversation before driving a car off a rooftop and then fighting in the car while they're falling, which was hilarious to me, then it's this. A dude just being bulletproof, and he's matched up against a guy who mainly fights with bullets. And now joining the fray is Kumanomi wanting to have a rematch with Heisuke. The last time they seen each other was when Hio was still alive. When Hio was fighting Kumanomi for the first time. When Uzuki was having his members go out and try and eliminate members of the Order. That's how long ago it was since Kumanomi's seen Heisuke to such a capacity or in such proximity. That's how long it's been. Me reading that chapter was a while back. And now they're finally seeing each other. So, yeah. And mind you, Gozu was saying to Sheena and everyone, like, hey, we're going to need to put you to work because the battle's already begun. And the author did say that with this chapter, the final battle for Sakamoto Days begins now. And we start with us literally ending this chapter with Heisuke facing off against the Japanese Rey Mysterio and Kumanomi. I fear for him. What I really hope is he either has a moment like Shin where he just gets mad accurate with his shots to the point where his shots ricochet to a degree where even Kumanomi can't manipulate them or find out how to beat this guy, and his apparent impervious ability to be hit by bullets, his invulnerability, I was trying to find the correct word for that, but apparently his invulnerability to bullets I really hope he has a moment where he goes beyond his limits. Or if a member of the order shows up like Kamihate and they both have a sniper battle against these two members of Uzuki. That's what I think. That actually would be cool if Kamihate shows up and lends Heisuke a hand. Since they're, kind of kindred spirits, and he was all like, yo, you're chill. I kind of like you because of how much Heisuke wanted to resonate with them when they were having a little sniper battle back then. But we'll have to see, though. And it doesn't look like, wait, are we going on break? Wait a minute, hold on. Because if One Piece is going on break. Yep. Okay, so no manga chapters next week, which means it's just going to be a One Piece episode next week. Okay, that's fine. Hopefully, Heisuke has secret special bullets not affected by magnetism. You know, it'd be interesting if the bullets he uses are actually plastic. Because think about it. The same thing was used against Magneto in X-Men The Last Stand, where they used plastic guns instead of metal ones so that Magneto couldn't take control of them at all. So what? In order to fight Kumanomi, and he just had to make sure that he was prepared, that he had special bullets made out of a material that could not be affected by magnetism. That would be helpful. But we don't know how prepared Heisuke is for this fight. Mind you, Kumanomi has all but gotten way more deadlier ever since she lost her arm to Hio. And, her frustrations of having to deal with Sakamoto and his team. I'm pretty sure especially because the last time we saw Kumanomi do something incredibly ridiculous was her pulling an entire crane truck through a museum wall, which was beautifully drawn, by the way. It was absolutely amazing how good it looked. So I would imagine that with Uzuki saying like, yeah, it's time for us to kill them all. I'm tired of having to deal with Sakamoto and his group. It's time to kill them all. Kumanomi doesn't look like she's here to play games or talk things out. She's literally the person that says, can we kill them already? She's the person that says, can we just go kill them because they're being a thorn in our sides right now? Even though Uzuki said it, Kumanomi is the first person to be like, let's run hands. Let's run the smoke. Let's throw them hands. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do this. So we're just going to have to see where things go. But since we're going on break, no manga chapters this upcoming Sunday for the upcoming week. So it'll just be a One Piece episode. So this will give me a chance to have a little bit of a break for myself. But overall, this was I won't call it a silly chapter. I won't, because the dude was essentially just digging his hand into the ground. I found it silly, but that doesn't make it a silly silly chapter, because Heisuke willingly jumped out of the truck in order to keep them back, even though it would put him in the crosshairs of Uzuki and his group. He willingly jumped out without a moment's hesitation. As soon as he saw how much of a threat the dude was, he jumped out. My question is, with the mask guy, we saw him catch Heisuke's bullets, but what did he do with the minigun bullets? Did he catch those too, or did they just bounce off him? They bounced off, because if I go back into it, if I go back to that chapter when Sheena just opened fired on him, he just stood there. He just stood there, and parts of his shirt is tattered. Part of his shirt is tattered. All over. And it shows impact marks, like impacts, dust coming off of his clothes, and the dust being kicked up after he was, shot at by her. He is just standing there with holes in his shirt, but he's fine. And mind you, dude was preparing to kill Sheena right then and there. But dude's fine. He is perfectly fine. So I'm questioning just how tough is his body for him to be like, I'm going to stand here and not dodge bullets, but I'm just going to tank them. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, I'm also kind of worried about Heisuke because, yeah, we were worried about everyone, like what happened to them when the plane crashed into the tower, which also knocked out the ability for the guns to be used in Japan. But now we got to concern ourselves with Heisuke, who willingly threw himself in the path of someone, for all intents and purposes, who trump him in all levels of strength except for sniping. I also wonder what his weakness is, because there's bound to be something. There always is. There's always a caveat to every single ability or strength that we've seen people have in this. Either it's bravado or pride, or maybe there's something to the abilities that the special skills that they use that they think nobody can ever figure out. There's always a weakness. It's like quirks from My Hero Academia. There's so much to factor in here. Let's see, there's bound to be something. Hopefully it's something as simple as shooting him in the back. Not like that'll be easy to do at all. And yeah, so one thing. Dude can catch bullets and seems to be immune to them. Now you have to factor in Kumanomi, who can manipulate pretty much a surrounding area if there's metal around, with frightening accuracy and degree. So that's another thing to be concerned about. Yeah. Needless to say, this is going to be a tough fight for Heisuke if he does not get help. Unless he has a moment where he starts to wake up to his true potential, is not getting scared all that much, and he actually brings out all the stops when it comes to sniping. But we gotta see. We gotta wait until we come out of break. But I am concerned about Heisuke, though, because this is not a good matchup for him. This is actually the worst type of a matchup. A person immune to his bullets, and another one that can just be unaffected by them because of electromagnetism. This is his worst possible matchup ever. But we'll see. Where he needs his mask, it's possible. It could be... Wait, speaking of My Hero Academia, what if his weakness is like twice his initial weakness, where he needs his mask in order to, So it would be like akin to Arthur in Fire Force, where he needs his imagination in order for his power to be fueled. Maybe this dude needs his mask in order for his invulnerability to bullets to be fueled. Maybe it fuels his toughness. We don't know. We don't know the fullest extent of what his skills are as an assassin. But we do know that he's deadly enough for Uzuki to want to recruit him. So that already speaks volumes. But we'll have to see when we come out of break. Overall, pretty good chapter. Pretty decent chapter. We got introduced to a new guy. Even though we don't have his name. We don't even have Sheena's brother's name. We just say, we just seen him being called Big Bro, and that was it. The only person whose name we got was, out of all the newcomer assassins who were coming in here, is basically Sheena from the Kyoto school. We don't get her brother's name, we don't get the name of the cop, we don't get the name of the lady and the baby, we don't get the name of Sheena and her brother, and we don't get the name of Sheena's brother, and we don't get the name of the Max dude. We don't know, I just like spewing out possible ideas. I know. It's good to theory craft when it comes to chapters such as this. Now, I wonder what type of chapter we're going to get once we're off of break. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I am going to go ahead and draw it to a close because now it's got me thinking just what type of ability or skill does this man have for him to not be affected by bullets? Him not being affected by bullets is not far-fetched because we've seen people cut through entire buildings. We've seen people grab blades by the hand and rip them off as if they don't have blades on them. We've seen people literally die but keep their hand clenched so they can drown another party with them. We've seen a person literally drag a bag through trash, shake it up, and it create a gun. Nothing surprises me anymore. Literally nothing surprises me anymore in this series. But yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say to you is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!